Everyone, so we are from IH or Institute of Automobile Guidance and Excellence. So today we will discuss on the topic of how the IC engine, both the petrol and diesel engine came in this world. So we study many topics on this IC engine, but we do not know that how this IC engine came and who is the great inventor behind this IC engine and how on which cycle this engine works. So it's just Carl Benz from Germany who was the first practical inventor of automobile, and how he invented this automobile, that is also a factor. Actually, Dr. August Otto, who first designed a cycle that is called Otto cycle, in which an engine can be run, in which the petrol engines generally run. So in Otto cycle, when August Otto experimented many times, then he also discovered the IC engine for the first time and the first petrol engine. But he failed to produce mass production for the IC engine, and then Carl Benz came in the field, and Carl Benz started his research for the practical automobile. And Carl Benz's dream was to found a horseless carriage, a horseless car, which can be driven by self-propelled. Actually, what is the meaning of automobile? The auto means self-propelled, and mobile or mobile, that means which can be moved or movable. So automobile, this means it is a self-propelled vehicle which can be moved by generating its own power continuously. So there will be no horse or any other thing. The car can be moved by generating its power inside. So Carl Benz was a German engineer. He worked at mechanical workshop where the sheet metals are generally made, and he also completed his diploma in mechanical engineering. On that time, on the 18th century, there was no automobile industry, no automobile engineering and stream was there. It's a very hard time there. And then Carl Benz's dream was to found the automobile in any cost. So he invested many years, he dedicated every time, every second for this invention. So in 1885, Carl Benz first successfully invented the first three-wheeled automobile on four-stroke Otto cycle engine. And in 1886 January, he got a patent registered on his name, which is described that Carl Benz is the founder and Carl Benz is the inventor of the automobile. But on that time, there was no automobile manufacturers. So Carl Benz started productions of this vehicle. So before coming to production part, I also telling you that his wife Bertha Benz, his wife Bertha Benz, she ride the first automobile which was invented by her husband for 110 kilometer journey, and on that journey she find many faults in that automobile, and she also rectified that all faults, and she also invented the brake pads mechanism in an automobile. And then with the joint work of Bertha Benz and Carl Benz, and they found the most genuine and most perfect version of first automobile, and they first started a company in the name of Benz and Co. And on the time, they are the only company in the world, and later that company also tie up with the Daimler. And on the same time, actually it's happening in the coincidence, you can say coincidence, that on the same time Gottlieb Daimler and William Maybach, two great scientists, they also started their venture, and they found the first bike in the world. So Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz, the two great inventors, they never met each other. But when Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz both passed away from this world, then the two oldest automobile company in the world get merged, and that is called now Daimler-Benz. And still now the production is going, and they are the best in the world. And in the another side, on 1893, the first diesel engine came by Dr. Rudolf Diesel, and Rudolf Diesel also was worked hard. He dedicated very much time to successfully invented this diesel engine, and this diesel engine actually started a revolution in the world, because you all know that petrol cost more than diesel, and also in case of diesel engine we can get more efficiency and more output, and in commercial factors we can use diesel engine and we can get more benefit. So that's why we need to we have advantage by using diesel engines. So from Germany, both the engines came, both the petrol and the diesel engine, both engine came from Germany. And in 19th century, in the America, the Henry Ford first invented the assembly line in the America, and which also facilitated the mass production in more better way. And now we can see many companies as there, like BMW, Audi, Porsche, Volkswagen, Skoda. So these all many companies came, but they came many later, not from early. Okay, so Mercedes-Benz, that was the first automobile company in the world. Okay, and then when Diesel invented the diesel engine, so then the diesel engine also started in production of the Mercedes-Benz. And Benz knows that his product will be got famous in the whole world, because they give quality product in the whole world. So that is confident, that is his confidence that his product will be famous in the whole world. And nowadays we can see. So in this way, the automobile came in this world. So but nowadays many changes happens. Although Carl Benz single-handedly invented many technologies, many parts, like the carburetor, the ignition system, the basic ignition system, and the brake system, and the axle pivot steering system, and the suspension system, and the transmission system. So everything, many things just single-handedly Carl Benz invented, which was not possible for anyone in that time, but he was a genius. And because he has invented the basic things, now many people, many engineers, they invented new technologies in their life, and in this way nowadays we get a modern automobile with modern technologies like ABS, TCS, and many others like EGR, and the airbag system. So many technologies we got in the modern automobile, and that is very luxury, but that cannot become in all of a sudden. It's need a hard work, and it's need a hard invention of a whole life, and on that way, by the evolution it comes. Okay, so engine in the early days engine was like it was a steam engine. You all know that in case of in the time of Titanic, RMS Titanic, the famous ship which was sunk at the North Atlantic, so that big ship also run by an engine, and that was a steam engine. So in case of automobile, before automobile came in the world, there was already train was there, locomotive. So in case of locomotive engine, there was steam engine which was powered by coal and oxygen from the outside air. So in the same way, one engine already there was discovered, already there was actually invented in the world, but that was not so efficient. And one engine also invented which was run by H2 hydrogen, but that was also not very efficient. But this Carl Benz engine, Carl Benz first actually invented the engine on the 2-stroke, and then he invented the engine on 4-stroke cycles engine. And first when he invented the car, that was a 3-wheeled vehicle, and then later the improvement happens, and then the 4-wheel automobile came, and his famous model was like a Velo. And another side, when Henry Ford at the America, he invented the famous Ford's Model T, and many famous model on the time. So automobile, in case of automobile engines, there was generally two part. One is called external combustion engine, and another is called internal combustion engines. So what is external combustion engines? When the combustion of oxygen and the fuel happens at outside, not inside cylinder, that is called external combustion engine. And what is internal combustion engine? When the combustion of oxygen and the fuel or the chemical reaction that will happen inside a combustion chamber, that will called as an internal combustion engine or the IC engine. Nowadays the whole world's automobile is run by IC engines, and this IC engine also have some specification. That IC engine have some types, like one is petrol engine, one is diesel engine, and now many others came also, like CNG, LNG, LPG versions. Okay, so in the time when evolution came, many engineers developed many technologies, and in the meantime nowadays we can see the modern automobiles. So the modern automobiles are much more better. It is easy to drive, and it is much more safer, it is much more comfortable, and it is much more easy to handle, and it is much more fashionable, and it is much more attractive in the way, all way. Okay, and now in the whole world, automobile is a emerging industry. It is the largest industry in the world. Even in India, if you just imagine 50 years back, then in India also no such type of modern industries, automobile, many companies are not there, but nowadays every companies are here. Okay, and from India nowadays, the many manufacturers who make the components, they also make components inside India, and they export those products in the African countries and United States and UK. Okay, so just develop a great interest towards this industry. It's the most interesting and it's the most magnificent industry, and